And it's showtime, and we are live, as you can see on the top left-hand side. Um, I'll introduce myself. I'm Mitch Hanley from Inventory Hive. I'm the marketing manager here, and I have been for the last couple of years. We're going to wait for a couple of more minutes for in case anyone wants to join. But in the meantime, George, do you want to introduce yourself,
Yes.
if that's all right, and
Yeah,
just give a general insight of what you do at Inventory Hive as well?
yeah. So my name's George. I've been on the kind of sales and support side, doing a lot of onboarding, training, and support for agents, landlords, all sorts. It's been about 6 months now. So yeah, it's nice to
How
get
time
into it.
flies.
Yeah, it's been a doesn't feel like 6 months at all. It's
No,
shot by.
no, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's good. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. So, as George mentioned there, a lot of the success we have is obviously because of the onboarding and training we do. So, we're hoping to cover a little bit of that today in this live stream about creating robust inventory reports through your mobile or tablet device. So, hopefully gone are the days of getting your spreadsheet up on your computer or Word document or scribbling some notes down. When just get your mobile phone out or your iPad or tablet device, and what's stopping you creating the inventory report through there. So that's what we're going to run through today. George has got quite a few things lined up, and some topics and tips on how to create your reports through the Inventory Hive app as well. So should we get started then, George? Now we've hit the 2 minute mark nearly. So
Fire away.
yeah, so fire away. So first of all users who sign up with Inventory Hive will be able to download the Inventory Hive app completely free of charge, and they just use the same login details. So once they log in, they'll gain access to their reports and then start creating their inspection reports. So George, so when you onboard a new client or train people up, what is the first thing you'll typically tell them to do when creating a report, basically through the Image Hive app?
So once we've got the app downloaded, I mean, the idea with it being paperless is we want to take our app, take our mobile device down to the property. Um, you know, the key thing with using this mobile tech is when we are going to a property, we might not have Wi-Fi, we might have a patchy 4G signal. So
Yeah,
we've got a
there's
selection of
nothing.
tools for working
There's
offline.
yeah, there's nothing worse than trying to browse the internet when you've got no signal. It's nothing more frustrating.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So we're not dependent when we go out and complete our reports using the Inventory Hive app on an internet connection, which is great when you're at a vacant property, when you need a bit of time to kind of get through. The other benefit as well is by not having to have that internet connection, when you're taking photos around the property, we can just do it as if we're saving photos to our phone. It's immediate, it's instant. So when you add all that good detail, all that data, it's instant and it's right there for you. We'll give you a number of
brilliant.
tools to help you get set up with that as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So now you've put the app in offline mode. That means the app performs to the best of its ability. So now you're ready to go around the property basically and record the condition, cleanliness, and take some photographs of the property you're inspecting. So how would that typically look on the Image Hive app, George, and how
Yeah.
well what tips would you specifically give as well?
I think my first thing when I get to the property is just have a quick walk around, get to know the order that you want to do your inspection in. What we can do is we can change the layout of the rooms, we can change the order of the rooms as well to follow the natural flow of the property. That just saves you menu diving really. So we can just go through, skip through to each item and automatically get through to each room as well. It also gives you a bit of insight as to what you want to look out for. Any common dispute items, any compliance items like your smoke detectors, like anything you think you might want to raise and flag before you start writing and start doing your inspection. Just gives you a bit of a clearer kind of image in your head as to how you're going to complete the report and such like. Shall we have a look at the interface and kind of what it
Yes,
looks like?
let's go for that, George. That's a good tip, actually. Sometimes it's good to get a general perspective of the property before you start your report, just to get a general feel for things. And it might be a case of where you might notice something similar in every room that you might want to clone across as well. So, yeah,
Let me see if I can get this to work. Apologies, viewers.
That's okay. That's absolutely. We love the old technical stuff.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful when it
Wonderful.
works. Wait, shall I click share screen?
At the bottom, there should be a share button.
Mm,
1 second.
it's grayed out for me, I'm afraid.
Share screen. Let me. 1 second. While I try and fix that, George, what else would you particularly look for at a property?
Yeah, so like I say, initially a quick walk around will just give you a bit of an idea as to what you're looking for, even if it's your property. If you've not been there for an amount of time, or if you've had tenants in previously, it's just a good idea to kind of scope out, with the interior spaces, with the exterior spaces as well, to just get an understanding as to what you want to include. It also gives you an idea as to if there is any maintenance issues that have cropped up in the meantime, especially at the moment with the colder weather. If boilers haven't been on for a while, looking at boilers, if there are any leaks from pipes, things like that as well. So yeah, absolutely. First of all, have a quick walk around, get your rooms in the right order, and then just kind of have a bit of a plan in your head.
Brilliant. I'm going to share my screen, George, so hopefully that helps. But yeah, so was you going to, what was going to look at first, George?
Yeah, let's.
Should we have a look at the, so on the Image Hive app, you can, I think the key thing is describing your items. So should we have a look at ways you can describe items on the Image Hive app
Yeah,
first? So,
absolutely.
yes, let me just find the describe. So one of the ways you can do it is, first of all, you got the voice dictation. So you can actually speak into the Image Hive app. So if you're um, describing a particular action, such as like the ceiling, just tap the voice dictation button and you can speak into the app and it will type out what you're saying, just like the example here. As long as you've got a really dodgy accent or a mouthful of food, then it should understand what you're saying. Um, but also, we do recommend using stuff like the drop downs as well. So if I go to an example here on a report I've got here.
It's worth pointing out, we've got all these different options. It's not necessarily to say that they have to be used either.
Yeah,
It's for yourself. I mean, Inventory Hive, we're here for creating robust and good-looking reports. But as a byproduct to that, by being a paperless system, it's about time saving as well.
of course. Yeah, exactly. So um, one of the key things as well is when you sign up with Image Hive, we give you off the shelf templates as well. So whenever you create a report, your report is automatically completed. Well, not automatically completed, it's automatically filled in with a generic template which best reflects that property.
Mm,
So, for example, here I'm in an entrance hallway and it's already typed out, it's clean and tidy, neutral smell. But obviously, you still got the facility on the app to free type that in as well. Anything else you want to add in, or you can choose from our drop down menu as well. So, there are a number of ways to describe items. There's
mm.
no point describing or going over the top with your descriptions. Would you say, George? There's no point saying, "Oh, there's like
It's, I mean,
there's no yeah." It's what you're going to say, yeah.
it's up to the inspector really, so how much detail you want to go to. I would say, do we need to kind of make a note of exactly how many plug sockets there are in a room? Potentially not. Again, but we give you the flexibility there to go into the level of detail you want to. Time saving point of view, as long as it's accurately described. Um, I think one of the benefits of Inventory Hive that I use as well, it's worth noting, is as you move through different kind of items. So if perhaps you're on the front door or an oven or something, that drop down list changes, doesn't it, Mitch?
Yeah, that's
So
right. So
it becomes relevant to that item there.
exactly. So it's like um, we've got lots of options here. Like I can't believe the time spent by our developers putting all of these descriptions in. And like they must think where there can only be so many handles you can put in. But yeah, so
Absolutely.
you can you can choose all of these, and these will get added into your report straight away. You can be as detailed or not as detailed as you want. It's totally up to you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You can over describe these things as well. You could go through and add dozens and dozens of those drop down boxes, but again, it's up to the inspector or the person inspecting the property. Do they want to spend time on that?
exactly.
And the
Yeah,
facilities are there for you to be as detailed as you like, or to stick with what we've given you and then add to it as you move through as well. But by all means, when you use our templates, which will include all of your items for you from, let's say, a check-in inspection, or your skirting boards, windowsills, such like, you obviously get that clear button as well, which will just
yeah,
remove it if it's a completely incorrect description for any reason, or if you want to describe it in a completely different way. That clear button takes you back to kind of a neutral starting point, really. Um, excuse me.
I think the next thing we'll probably show now is how to take photographs of specific items. So if I jump to an app demonstration here, so where's the photographs? There we go. So when taking photographs on the app, it's key to point out that it's my number one tip I'll probably give is not to take photos of everything, only take
Mm,
photographs of stuff that are relevant. Um, and the reason that is that you don't want to clog up your inspection report with so many photographs. The only time you might want to take loads and loads of photographs is when you're taking general overview photographs, just like this one, like I'm doing through the Image Hive app now. Um, so I'm just with general overview photographs, it's good to take a photograph from each corner of the room, one of the ceiling, one of the floor, one of the door, for example, even maybe one with the lights working, just to show everything there. The reason we say to make use of your general overview photos means that it saves you time later on, in a way, to not take photographs of any other items for unnecessarily. So there's no
absolutely.
point taking a photograph in this case of the walls, because if they're in a good condition, you've already captured the colour of the walls and everything like that in the general overview photos. As I was going around the property, there's no point um, capturing the photograph of, say, the lights working, because I've already captured that in the general overview. So um, this process is probably designed to help speed up your reporting and take less photographs. But if there are any damages and defects and common dispute items, then obviously make sure you take photographs of that specific item.
Absolutely. I mean, we give you up to 10 photos in a general overview. So you should, no matter the size or shape of the room, really, you should be able to cover a photo of the entire space. What I like and what saves me a lot of time as well is not having to menu dive. So being able to take photos back to back, as we've kind of seen on the video there.
Yeah,
Um, and that little photo editor, this time of year, all it needs to be is quite dark outside, and it can really darken up the room as well. If you don't
yeah,
have the best lighting, or if the lighting's not working, um, you know, we want to facilitate that as well. So there is a small photo editor in there which will let you brighten up your photos. And if you take a blurry one as well, it's fine. You can delete it. You can change the
yeah.
order, do what you need to there in terms of adding photos.
And the key thing is as well is that obviously they get loaded into the correct sections of your report. So it saves you,
Mm.
if you was doing it the old-fashioned way as such, it saves you downloading your photos on your computer, then remembering where those photos sit in your report and re-uploading them in. Whereas doing them straight through the app just um, uploads them in the right area straight away for you.
And this is
Um,
really where the time saving comes through, isn't it? If you're used to a paper-based system or a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, um, you know, we're not having to spend time then collating all the information. And this is where the time saving of a few hours comes in, because all the information, the written descriptions, the photos, are all there in the right place, ready to go. So when you
yeah,
add your descriptions, add your photos, sorted.
yeah,
Done. No need to then kind of mess around with layouts, try to change fonts, and do all the
yeah,
other stuff you need to do to collate the report. It's all there for you. So, and that
exactly.
can save a couple of hours. Depending on the property you're in, it can take you 2 or 3 hours in some cases to put all that information together. So, you may spend slightly longer at the property if you're new to Inventory Hive and you're getting to know the system and such like. But the trade-off is you don't then have to, sit at home, type it all up, finish it off. It can
Exactly.
complete immediately. So, and
Exactly.
that's a massive benefit. That's a massive time saving.
Yeah. Some of our users actually have a 360 camera as well, and they it's a good way to take your general overview photos as well, rather than lots of the standard photos like I've just demonstrated there. So I'm just going to share my screen again. So the key thing is obviously, as long as you've got one of the compatible 360 cameras, you can pair it directly to the Inventory Hive app and take 360 photos in the general overview. Again, designed to help speed up your reporting time and save you time, and it just makes it a lot more robust as well, because you've captured everything in one photo, like the general layout of the room, the context, the general condition. So it's really easy to take your 360 photos and add those in the app as well. When I first started at Image Hive, I was wondering what's the point of 360 photos, but the more I've used the platform, the more reliable users are on 360 cameras. I don't know if you agree with that, George. And
100%. I mean, when I first joined, it's like 360 cameras. I was a little bit, you know, where does the value come from that? But having gone out and done inspections and taken a 360 camera with me, it saves me so much time because the integration's there. I can do it all within the app, so the photo goes directly to the right place, the 360 photo. And it means I don't then, similar to what we said about the general overview, I don't then have to take multiple photos. If it's furnished, you can see in the 360, we've got a brown leather sofa, we've got dining room chairs, so on and so forth. Absolutely, we need to do some written detail on that. But again, it's saving the amount of photos, it's reducing the length of the report, it's making the report easier to use. And one of the things I really like actually is to kind of segue is how that's then presented in the report as well. So I think
yeah,
that's put together very nicely. It's very clear. In addition to that, Mitch, you've recently done a video alongside the TDS, haven't you, about using 360 photos for deposit disputes?
yeah, that's right. That's on our YouTube channel and webinars channel as well. It was a really popular webinar actually, and it was really good to get some insight from the TDS and an adjudicator of how they use 360 photos in adjudication. So definitely use one if you've got one.
100%. It didn't take me long to kind of start seeing the benefits of it when I joined Inventory Hive. Um, and it's not massively expensive to get involved with it either,
No,
is it, Mitch? I mean, I think the starting camera that we integrate with is
about 250
270
around.
odds.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
even that. Yeah, so yeah,
it's
it's it's a good entry price level camera, but you can get ones up to £700. So it's totally up to you. But it's not as expensive as you think. um, yeah, so probably the next thing I was probably going to discuss is usually once you've gone through the property, recorded the condition cleanliness in every room, and took your standard photographs. One of the key things that we've got inbuilt in Image Hive is the compliance questions. So compliance is always key. It's always good to show to your landlord or a letting agent or the tenant as well that all the compliance questions in have been covered off. So in the Image Hive app, you can answer compliance questions as you're completing your report. So an example being here is, so if I again share my screen, so I've got a report here. I'm going to the check-in section, and then it will ask me, would you like to complete some additional checks about mandatory safety certificates and landlord legislation? So if I tick yes, you can answer these questions, and these will get added into your inspection report. Um, Obviously, all the positive answers will go green, any negative ones will go red. So it's good to show that your questions will get added in your report. So these questions are based on the location of the property. So if the property, for example, is in Scotland, it will have Scottish compliance questions, or if it's in Wales, it will have the Wales legislation. So and the same with England as well. So you can answer these questions, and these will get added directly in your inspection report. And you can do fitness of human habitation as well. So um, sometimes when I've showed people the fitness of human habitation checklist questions, it's surprising to hear how many agents and landlords haven't heard about it. Um, but it gives them the option here to complete these questions, and these will get automatically slotted in the report. So I know, George, you do a lot of demonstrations and training. what's the typical feedback you would get from people when you're showing the compliance side of things?
Generally speaking, look, this is set up in a really good way. It's nice and quick and easy. Visibly on the report, it really adds value as well. I mean, these are all questions that you would, ideally notice as you're walking around the property anyway. So signs of damp, signs of fraying carpets. These are all questions lined with that Village Human Habitation Act 2018. And you will notice this as you go around the property. But as you've seen Mitch do there, he's already completed this section. It's only a few quick toggle boxes. So
Yeah,
our agent users, our landlord users, our inventory clerk users, all get feedback. This is a really positive tool. It adds weight to the report, adds value to the report. It looks good and it's quick and easy to use as well. And in some
exactly.
cases, if you're a landlord, fully understandably, you're not necessarily doing inspections every month or every week or anything like
Yeah,
that. It's just another prompt there to say, let's make sure we check through all this. Um, None of those answers either will stop you completing the report. So it's not like if you give a negative answer, you're not then able to complete the report. And equally, where you've got questions on gas supplies, things like that, you can toggle non-applicable and it will just
yeah,
remove it from the report as well.
that's a really
So
good point, George. Yeah,
if you look at any of those compliance questions, and those compliance questions are present in all the report types as well. So your interims, we've got things about access, we give them tenants 24 hours notice. They're really quick and simple to add, but really add weight to your report as well.
brilliant, nice stuff.
Crikey.
I think the next thing you'll probably show now is what a completed report looks like when you've done it through the app. So when you've completed a report and you've sent it to the tenant for feedback, if you want to learn more about our tenant feedback process, then just get in touch with us. We can cover that off with you. Basically, it's designed to reduce a dispute and engage with tenants. So what I'm going to show you now is what a completed report would look like on Inventory Hive. Now it's all done through the Inventory Hive app. It's just amazing how this report's created basically through a tablet device. So I'm just going to pop the screen on again. There we go. And this is a completed report. So all the tenant's details and the address would have been pre-completed in. Then you've got your glossary terms, which are automatically added in as well. So when you go around the property and mark the condition as good or clean or whatever, um, that that would just highlight what that would mean on your inspection report. And then you can attach pre-arrival documents as well. So if you want to attach a gas safety, an EPC, or an electrical safety certificate, then you can do as well. And then as you scroll down here, you've got your general overview descriptions and your photographs here with your condition cleanliness. So like a lot of these descriptions here, I've used the property template that we discussed earlier, but you'll see here below here that that's been altered slightly for a couple of them. So might have put free of rubbish in the front garden, for example, just to show it up a bit.
It's worth
Um,
noting as well as standards, within the property templates. If you've got a slightly older property or a period property or something like that, there are other templates which don't necessarily say it's clean and tidy all the way throughout. It might comment on things are in a fair condition instead, and
yeah,
that will change give you a slightly different starting point, really. So and this is why perhaps sometimes I say get out to the property, have a quick nosy, have a quick look around to give you an idea of sort of starting point. Because even if your property is, sparkly clean and everything, great, use the good condition. If it needs a bit of TLC, use the fair condition, but then
yeah,
your starting point such like as well.
yeah. That's a good point. Lovely. The compliance questions have been slotted in here. Um, Again, nice early on in the report just to give the landlord and tenant a bit of ease. And then you've got the keys. I think there'll be utilities next. Um, and then finally, you've got your room details. So this is where the descriptions have been typed in with supporting photographs as well. So all the photographs are stored in the online gallery. So if you click here, it will take to the online gallery where you can see them in a high definition image. Um, you've got your 360 photos as well. Again, once you click on them, it will load them up in the online gallery where the tenant and the landlord, letting agent, property manager can view them in the online gallery as well. So it's really, really simple gallery to use. And you can scroll through it as well.
Bro. And I think the other great thing is when you're adding photos, all of this is built automatically. And in the report where you've got the reference numbers for your photos, for your items, for your descriptions, it's all automatically done. It's taken away that kind of manual process of going 1.2, 1.12, 1.13,
Yeah,
so on and so forth. It's all there. That metadata is all there for you already, and automatically updates as you move through. So it's just saving so much time.
yeah. And it's good to note as well how during this process as well, how clean the report looks, even though you've done it on a tablet or screen, which is no bigger than like a small screen. Basically, not a lot of this is done on the desktop computer. Um, when showing people example reports or showing them on demonstrations, a lot of people say how clean the reports look and how easy it is to read. So
Absolutely. And that's, that there's way as well. Obviously, we work closely with the TDS, and this is one of the reasons that, that there's been conversations happening there is the layout of these reports as well. It's very easy to read, where the tenants fed back as well. You just get a very clear description, very concise conversation where everybody's contributed as well. So,
an example of George just touched on there on the tenant feeding back is this front door here. So when the inspector originally created the report, they noticed it was in a good condition. It was free of marks and scratches to the front side and reverse, glazing in a good clean condition. But the tenant noticed that the letterbox was not fixed on properly and it was hanging off. So they added a comment on there, and they actually supplied a photograph of that as well, which is just here. And it even outlines in the report that these photos were supplied by the tenant. So again, nicely audit trailed and good for disputes and adjudications in the line, because it helps reduce those if tenants engage at the start. So
absolutely. And, one of the things that I found recently is that's been a lot more receptive. So with the tenant feedback process as well, there's no need for your tenants to have accounts. They can do it off the back of an email that gets sent to them when you send them the report. They can do it all on the phone. Slightly different looking interface, but again, they can just snap the photos as needed. And from landlord's point of view as well, if they do provide feedback, if they do disagree or disapprove of something, which adds weight to the report, it's a positive thing in some cases. They need to provide a photo and a written statement as well. So it's
yeah,
it's kind of giving them the same restriction that an inspector would or a landlord would if they want to dispute something.
spot on. I think that pretty much comes towards the end of this live stream today, George. I don't know if you had anything else to add before we depart for our traditional lunch.
Traditional lunch, lovely.
Traditional,
Happy
yeah,
Friday. I'll see you
yeah,
there in a minute.
yeah,
Nothing on my side. I mean, all of the kind of reports that we've seen, if you head to our homepage, there are sample reports available there. As part of the kind of onboarding process, you're going to receive loads of tips and tools and training. So top 10 tips we've got available on our YouTube channel. It's all there. You'll receive over email kind of getting started guides and such like as well. So don't ever feel like don't look at the interface and be afraid of it, because there's plenty of support out there as well. And our support
yeah,
area is full of training
yeah.
videos and articles to help you get set up and help you get underway.
Exactly. I think that's a key thing. Like, people sometimes see the interface and might get scared, but it is so easy to use. And with all the training support we offer, like you'll see from our reviews, our EA Masters Best Supply Win Award, and everything like that. The support we offer is one of the key reasons why we're so successful. So, like I said, the training videos we offer are nice bite-sized chunks as well, so they're not overwhelming either. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So that concludes today. Thanks for your time today. If anyone's got any questions, just fire them over to info@inventoryhive.co.uk, and we look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks for our next stream. Cheers, George, and cheers for everyone
Cheers,
today.
Mitch. Thanks everybody for coming.
No problem.
Talk
Cheers,
soon.
guys. Bye.